Hello everybody, I'm back, and today I have the WLToys V911S 4-channel series helicopter. So let's open this up and see what we got. Okay, I've already snipped the little zip ties they had tying this down. There was one here and there was one down here on the landing gear. So let's pull this out. We got a helicopter. This is a single blade, fixed pitch, no fly bar design, and the landing struts are pretty flexy. It would help take up some shock in a hard landing. The blades, I haven't seen any blades really like this material before. They should be pretty sturdy, especially in a crash. The tail rotor, same thing. It's just a different type of material. This tail boom is metal, so it could possibly get bent in a crash if you really hit it good enough. This thing is so light, it doesn't really weigh much at all. Now you get a 250 milliamp 1S LiPo with the low-C connector, and let's just set that aside for a second. Got some stick protectors on here on the transmitter. Okay, you got the transmitter. Is the mode 2, so you have the throttle, you have your yaw, you have roll, since it's a 4-channel, and pitch. And when you turn it on, you have a little screen here. When you have your throttle going, you got a little display there that shows your throttle up and down, and the little blades flash there. And then you have right here on this side, down at the bottom, you have your roll and pitch showing up on the graphics. And when you do your yaw, right above that, you have your yaw showing up on the graphics. Now, rate switch is right here. 2 beeps for second rate and 1 beep for first rate. And this is a pretty quick little helicopter. I would recommend starting out in rate 1 if you're not used to this kind of thing, and get used to it, because this thing will get away from you pretty quick, and being so small, it's going to be hard to see very far away. Now you do have your trim switches here, and it's a long beep for centered, short beep back and forth. Okay, so this button over here is actually a hover debug switch. You'd have to look in the manual to make sure of how you're doing that. I personally am probably not going to use it unless I absolutely have to. Now, this is a power-hungry little transmitter. It takes 6 AA batteries, and it's got a little compartment back here. I guess they use this transmitter for other toys, because nothing that's in this box is going to fit in here. So I don't know what that's for exactly. So there's the transmitter. What else you have in here is a USB cable with a little plug there, and you have some spare parts. You have a spare set of main blades, you have a spare tail rotor, you have a screwdriver, an Allen wrench, and a spare main drive gear. Okay, and then you have this little charger right here. If I can get it out of there. Boy, this thing's hard to get out of there. I might have to push that up from the back. Okay, we're going to push that up from the back. Okay, and here's your manual right here. Okay, so you got a little charger. You can charge 2 batteries at one time. That's where this goes. Right here in the bottom, there's a little hole, and it does go all the way in. And when you plug a battery in here and you plug this into your USB, the light comes on. When it's finished charging, the light goes out, and I would recommend pulling the battery off when the light goes out and not letting it sit, because I don't know that this actually cuts any voltage off of it. Now the manual, the English in this is very poor English, but it does cover pretty much everything about this. There's a section in here about the hover debugging, and the English is so poor, it's really hard to understand. I think I figured it out. I might try it one time, but I don't think I'm going to have to, unless I really have a serious problem with the hover after a crash or something. But it shows you all your functions here. The left upper button is your rate switch, and then your debug switch is on the right upper. And of course it shows you all the stuff on the transmitter there. It gives you your display description and the mode 1 and mode 2. We're on mode 2. So it covers both, mode 1 and mode 2. There's a troubleshooting guide, there's a blow up parts, and your parts list. So it's got a pretty decent manual there, other than the poor English. So let's set this aside for a minute. Okay, so we already looked at the charger. We've got a 250 milliamp 1S battery. So let's look at the size of this thing. This is about 10 inches long, just shy of 10 inches. With the blade extended here, you got about 12 inches, so it's not really small, but it's half decent. Let's plug the battery in here just so you can see this. I am not going to get to give you a flight demonstration of this because I don't have room in the house to fly this helicopter. My house is a little too small for this. All I'd be able to do is hover in one spot, and it's a little tricky to do that with all the turbulence I get in these small rooms. But let's turn this on for just a second here. Turn the transmitter on. Plug this in. Okay, there are no lights on this to indicate anything other than a transmitter light, receiver light inside, or receiver light inside here. That's all there is. So I wanted to show you, just so you can see how this moves. Let's get this body off of here, that way you can see it better. You just pull off with a little rubber grommets on there. It drops right off, and it's kind of like a Lexan body. Okay, right here, when you move your sticks, you see the servos moving the rotor head. That's your roll, that's your pitch, and then of course your yaw would be with your tail rotor. And I don't want to hit the throttle here because I don't want to end up smacking everything. But it does, it's trying to stabilize itself right now. There we go. Let's get that on there. Yep, it's a little bit wobbly, but it's probably because I'm holding on to it. Like it's a little bit off balance, but it's, like I said, it's probably just like I'm just holding on to it. Okay, anyway, let's unplug this and we'll continue looking at it. Okay, you got a servo here, you got a servo over here. You got your main motor. It runs your drive gear. And then of course your tail boom with your tail motor and your tail rotor. And the wire comes through here and goes all the way up to the front. And then here's your receiver board with the gyros and everything in here. It is a 6-axis gyro, so it does have some stabilization, pretty decent stabilization, but it is a little twitchy here and there, and it could wobble a little bit. I'm not so sure what the issue is with that. I do know the characteristics of this type of helicopter. It will have some, you know, wobbling and stuff like that. It's not a perfectly stable design, especially for a toy grade. But I think these sticks on these transmitters are just not quite up to par. But it's still an enjoyable flyer. It's still an enjoyable flyer. It's something to play with. It is a quick little helicopter. I would make sure you keep an eye on it. Don't get it too far away from you because it is hard to see after a little bit of distance there. But I'm not going to give you a flight demonstration because it's snowing outside and it looks like this. So hopefully soon I will get to do a video on it and show you how it flies. So thanks for watching, and we'll catch you on the next video.